Welcome back. That's what you. That's part of what you would have survived at our live Combat Radio Christmas Carol event, November 17th for Social Services, when the supergroup took the stage after the all-star cast managed to get us through Orson Welles' version of A Christmas Carol. And now, even though I wasn't planning on doing another one, there's definitely talk of doing one next year. I don't think we can get out of it.
Oh, you gotta.
It's almost like one of the, hopefully the less I have to do with it, the better, because I'm the element that brings all these things down. I'm the common denominator of destruction. If I can take myself out of the equation, we have a shot at delivering something special. Real quick, let's go around the room and start the show formally. Producer Dan Truly is in studio in a very dashing Dirty Harry shirt.
Thank you.
In from New York.
Thank you.
Bill Sandell, production designer on Robocop, Total Recall, Master and Commander, one of my favorites, Hocus Pocus, and many other things, is in studio. Our only British Academy Award winner, to my knowledge, to do the show. And he's wearing a Flatwood Monster shirt because Bill will call me on the phone and be like, dude, I can't do the show. I'm actually at Area 51 getting ready to break in, or I'm at the Phantom Toll booth in Texas. Or,
I was there.
You know. And then welcome back a guy who's helped us with quite a bit of charity work himself, bit of a hero around here. You know him. On the surface, you know him as the guy who saved the Star Trek franchise with Wrath of Khan and many other things. But he's also an intrepid writer.
Still the best Star Trek movie ever made.
Yeah, that's the one that got the fans back.
Yes. There it is. Now you guys wish you had your headphones on.
No, we can hear it.
But he's also one of our favorite writers, and he's got a new book out called It's actually a Sherlock Holmes book because he wrote The 7% Solution and got an Oscar nomination for the adaptation of it. It's called The Adventure of the Peculiar Protocols. I want to get to the book, but before I do, your best-selling book, The Adventure of the Peculiar Protocols. You also had a great lesson in directing William Shatner because I asked you how that was to deal with, and you said you had to get him bored to get him to invent things. And you know the scene where Khan...
No, I know what you're talking about. The thing is that Bill, who was a classically trained actor, wound up doing a lot of television, and a lot of series television. And it's my impression, I would just call it an impression, that he sort of developed a lot of shortcuts and habits of having, because those schedules are grueling. And he was very protective, I think, understandably, of Captain Kirk and his identity as Captain Kirk, and he understood that Kirk was the hero, and this was a movie, we're talking about Star Trek II, where the hero was off his game, the hero was aging, the hero was depressed, the hero was not up to, and it was hard for Bill, I think, to get into that place, to exhibit the kind of vulnerability and fallibility that was not Kirk's normal go-to place. And he has this exchange with Khan. They never meet in the film, but they do have these, what we would call, what Twitter or phone conference, iPhone.
Right. Yeah.
Smartphone.
FaceTime. Yes.
That's it. And Khan says, you've got 30 seconds to deliver the secret code. And meanwhile, Kirk and the Enterprise are preparing to fire the shit out of his ship, and they're stalling, and finally Kirk, wearing reading glasses and definitely looking vulnerable, has a line where he says, here it comes, meaning the code. And the first time Bill did it, he says, here it comes. And I said, Bill, this guy is really smart on the other end of the line. If you snidely, smirkingly deliver this, he's going to know something is up. Let's try it again. And I wasn't sort of getting anywhere. And so I said, I'm sorry, that was no good for sound. Let's do it again. And then the cameraman whispered, he said, it's a little soft. We have to, we didn't...
Somebody kick over a light. Let's do it.
Whatever. And I just kept doing it. And finally, the reading, which is pretty damned effective, is what came out. And that's when I sort of learned that if you do it a few times, he was less inclined to strike attitudes.
How often did you say that was no good for hair?
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Did he?
You know what? There were two moments in that era. There was when the lights start going off around the ship because the shields are coming down, was so electrifying. And the other one was in Alien when they're using that tracker and it starts coming to it. But it was like simple lights being used as progression, yeah. And Ricardo Montalban, was he wearing a prosthetic chest?
No, that's his chest.
Good
I
God,
that too.
He was so manly.
How was Shatner about wearing glasses? Did he fight you on that?
I don't recall that he did. I have to digress long enough to say that memory is fallible. Mm-hmm. And I have a very good memory. You've heard me sort of rattle off the credits of who did what, and I know I'm correct about all that stuff. On the other hand, people ask me a lot, what were your interactions with Gene Roddenberry? And talking about The Wrath of Khan, and I said, well, I know I met him, and I think you shake his hand and stuff, but he wasn't part of making the movie. And then I went back to the University of Iowa, my alma mater, where my papers are kept.
Yes, of course.
And they put out an exhibition for me, which included lengthy memoranda between me and Gene Roddenberry about the script, which he despised, and a very vituperative, toxic, back and forth.
One of the things I love about that particular scene you just described is the music. And where the score takes you when he's getting ready to make the delivery of that torpedo. No, it was James Horner.
Oh.
But also, settle another question for us, because this is like a rumor mill that we got to iron out if you can. You also came back and did The Undiscovered Country, in that you wanted the character of Savick to come back as the traitor to try to hold together the Federation. Why did Kirstie Alley not continue the role? Was it a contract thing?
No, I don't think it was a contract thing, because we definitely offered it to her. She had some issue, and I don't know what that issue was, that she didn't want to do it. Somebody sometimes said, you're lucky when you don't get your first. Imagine if Norma Desmond had been played by Mae West.
Right.
That was Billy Wilder's first choice.
Yeah. So it came back around, and I think Kim Cattrall played it, but
she was great.
So there was an issue there that was not related to anything you can recall, because I think we were having a discussion not too long ago about why that
I loved Wrath of Khan because I thought the first movie was too precious and it was thinking too much about the show and not feeling too much. The second one was a movie.
Wrath of Khan is the third greatest sequel of all time, behind The Godfather and Empire Strikes Back. Then you have Wrath of Khan, literally in my historical film archives.
That's what the fans think too.
It is. It saved the franchise. I remember having to be convinced to go see it because I
remember
fell asleep in the first one. And people go, "No, you got to see this. This movie is amazing." And sure enough, I probably saw it 7 or 8 times in the theater, going, "This is just so entertaining. Every scene is riveting."
Movies are like soufflés. They either rise or they don't. And sometimes you never quite know why. You can have all the elements assembled and you've done everything right, and the thing just lies there. I was not a Star Trek fan. I didn't know anything about it. So they showed me the first movie, and I still didn't get it. And they showed me episodes. And I started to think, gosh, these episodes remind me of something that I really loved. And it took a very long time, because everything takes me a very long time. If I talk fast, I'm playing a tape. The rest of the time, I'm thinking really slowly. Then I woke up and I thought, oh, those books that I used to read at the same time I was reading Sherlock Holmes, the C.S. Forester books, Captain Horatio Hornblower. This is like sort of Hornblower in outer space. And in fact, when you see the Raoul Walsh, Gregory Peck movie of Captain Horatio Hornblower, the trumpet fanfare is the same as the Star Trek theme. Robert Farnon wrote the music for Hornblower, and I think Gene Roddenberry liked that trumpet fanfare and just, helped himself.
Have you seen the? I'm assuming by now you've seen the entire original series.
The Ian. Oh, you mean of Star Trek?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I haven't seen entirely. I saw a bunch of them, and the other movie that totally grabbed me for Star Trek was a picture called The Enemy Below.
That's what I was going to say with Kurt Jurgens. That's what it feels like.
Who directed it?
Oh,
You'll never guess. If I gave you 300 years, you would never guess.
Rosemarie.
not William.
Close.
Not William Fleischer. Who?
Would it be Richard Fleischer?
Richard
if it was
Fleischer.
Dick Powell.
No, I wouldn't have guessed that. You're right.
Wow.
Dick Powell directed The Enemy Below, and I thought
Which is a great movie, by the way.
it's a great movie. It is a great movie.